Hey yo, what up? What up? It's Lamette with Selah Sports TV back at it again. Chill. Um, well, comes to find out, we got these reports from Turkey Al Sheikh himself, right? The guy is all over the place when it comes to boxing. Um, he's making it happen right now, man. But Turkey Al Sheikh comes out and says he doubts that Terence Crawford will agree to his offer to fight um Virgil Ortiz, right? And the only person Crawford wants to fight is Canelo. But didn't I say that? And I want to say it might have been my last video or the one before that, but I said that. I'm like, we're looking at this like boxing consumers, which we should, because that's what we are, right? But we're looking at it like boxing consumers and boxing fans. Like, yeah, Crawford is at 154. He can easily um go undisputed at 154. He can beat all these guys, right? They might be tough, a little bit tougher fights, but he can get his third undisputed. That's us looking at it as boxing fans, right? As a fighter, this guy's 36, 37 years old, man. You know what I mean? Like he's been through all the wars. Like to ask him, it is one thing if guys wanted to fight him, you know what I mean? But we think that he wants to like look at what he had, all that shit he had to go through. Not his last fight, but the one before that with Errol Spence. Um, all the shit he had to go through just to get that fight, all the disrespect, all the just the game plan, the rhetoric and the politics, all that bullshit, right? Before he could get that fight. But in his very next fight, he's dealing with who? Turkey Al Sheikh, right? Turkey Al Sheikh, so he didn't have to do any of that. And he probably got a bigger bag than what he got to fight Spence. I don't know what he got. I don't really care, personally. The point is, we don't know what how much these guys want to continue putting their bodies through this. He started out as a lightweight. Like, it's a lot to be approaching 40 years old and have to still make certain weights, right? That's why it never really affects heavyweights the way it affects everybody else. Heavyweights, if Bud was a heavyweight, shit, he could probably fight 10 more years. At this level that he's fighting now, he could probably go 10 more years, but he's not a heavyweight. He has to make weight, right? He has to make weight, so he has to still deny himself. Like, guys get tired of that, I'm sure. I'm sure. So this Canelo fight, it makes kind of perfect sense for him wanting to go up there and fight Canelo as his last fight. Number one, because that would be your last fight. Like, there's no way you pick up that much weight, go up there for a fight like that, right? And be able to, fight on. Number one, you're not gonna fight at 168. Like, you're not gonna be up there at 168 trying to fight those guys, right? You want Canelo because stylistically, that's a doable matchup. But those other guys are giants. Those other guys are giants, and you have to have a certain build to even compete with them. Canelo is different. Why? Because Canelo himself, he moved up the same way Terence Crawford moved up. Well, not the same way. Canelo, he was able to ingest Mexican beef and the clenbuterol and stuff like that to help him out. Terence Crawford is a clean athlete, but in essence, they did the same thing. Those guys moved up through weights. So Crawford he sees himself, he can match up with this guy. He can match up with this guy. That's what he's thinking. Now, what you or I think really doesn't matter. We're not the fighter. We're not in the ring. Am I interested in Crawford fighting Canelo? I have interest in it. Yeah, I have interest in it. Do I like the fight? No. I don't like the fight. I have interest in it. I would definitely order it. I would watch it. And I'd be pulling 100% for Bud Crawford to knock this motherfucker's head off. But the reason why I don't have top shelf interest in it is because this isn't like it's the same shit. Like the fans weren't asking for this fight. Now I get it. Once Bud brought it up, yeah, it is kind of like a fantasy fight, whatever thing like that. But this wasn't on anybody's radar. The fight Canelo should have had, the fight that he will be judged for years down the road, is Benavidez. That's the Benavidez fight. I thought he broke code. I thought he should have been willing to, like, for all the money he's made, he should have been willing to get in the ring with that guy. LeBron James and Canelo have a lot in common. Like, I realized that. I started really looking at that. Both of these guys are extreme narcissists. Extreme narcissists. But I tell you what, we know how much of a narcissist LeBron James is. Why? Because he speaks English. He's like us, right? We get to see his moves are like very much plain and in your face, right? But I think Canelo might be an even bigger one. He might be an even bigger asshole, bigger narcissist than LeBron. He don't even speak the language, and we can see his bullshit. Just the way he moves, the way he walks throughout boxing. He's a fucking punk. I do what I want. Like, what is that? And don't get me wrong. There have been fighters who have done what they want, so to speak. There's been plenty of fighters who've done what they want in the sport. Just like there's been plenty of basketball players who have kind of had control over the league, but it's all about how you handle yourself, how you carry it. At one point, Michael Jordan was the man in the NBA. He was the man. I mean, if you played defense on him, you automatically gonna have about at least 4 or 5 fouls on you in the game if you don't foul out. Right? Michael Jordan had lots of control, but it's all about what he did with it. What did Michael Jordan do with all his perceived control? What did Michael Jordan do? For those who are old enough to remember, all Michael Jordan did was stay with his team, stay with those guys, right? Trying to coach those guys up. Didn't try to ship nobody out. Somebody have a bad series, he wasn't trying to get him traded for some star. Michael Jordan was a player. He wasn't trying to be a GM. He wasn't trying to be a coach. Michael Jordan allowed himself to be coached. How about that? As great as he wasn't like none of these punks that's playing now. And none of them were as good as him. He allowed himself to be coached. Right? He played within the game. And that's why he had the results. This is coming from a guy who was not a huge Michael Jordan fan back in the day. Right? But I got to keep it real. He played to win the game. LeBron James plays for stats. So he doesn't care. He's not into good coaching. He doesn't want to be coached. He feels like he already knows. Think about that. Michael Jordan could be coached, but LeBron James can't. LeBron James is above coaching. Any coaching. And I'm talking about from the beginning. The only coaching LeBron halfway accepted was Paul Silas. And even that was short-lived. People say Eric Spoelstra. He was forced to accept Eric Spoelstra. And ironically, that's when he had his most sustained success in a team atmosphere, team success, competing for championships. That's when he did it, when he was forced to accept coaching. But of course, he got out of there kicking and screaming. Why am I spending so much time on LeBron? Because this cocksucker right here, getting pieced up, is the same way. The same fucking way. Yeah, early on in his career, he was taking on some tougher fights, a little tougher. You know, he fought Trout and he fought Lara, right? I mean, not the toughest, but they're good fights. They're tough fights, right? He fought Cotto. I mean, he was an old man by the time he fought him, but he fought him. right? But these days, he wouldn't fight none of those guys. If this, like, if Canelo, if those guys were still on the table right now for Canelo at this stage in his career, he wouldn't fight those guys. He was fighting those guys when he was with Golden Boy. And the only, my personal opinion, it's my opinion. I have no facts. I don't know. It's alleged. I don't think he was clean when he was fighting all those guys down there. Personally, I don't. I don't think he was clean. Just like I don't think LeBron James is clean. The correlation is valid. The correlation is valid. It's hilarious, this boxing shit. We're about to lose a fighter of Terence Crawford's caliber because nobody wants to fight him. Now think about that. Nobody wants to fight him when he has Turki Al-Sheikh in his corner. Turki Al-Sheikh is bankrolling these fights, and guys still don't want to fight him. You got I have to believe that's a product of the social media era. I gotta believe that, right? That's why I don't. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like when these fights happen and guys start making memes, like somebody get knocked out and got the first thing, like boxing fans. I'm talking about real boxing fans start making memes about it. I think the world is gonna do that. Like, casual fans are gonna do that. Us, if we're the real boxing fans, I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should do that. You know, if you have what you would call a boxing channel and you follow the sport of boxing and you love the sport of boxing, I don't think we should make fun of these guys when they get knocked out. Sorry, I don't. Even the fighters we don't like, even those guys, I don't think we should do that. I think we should let the casuals do that. Why? There's always a why. These fighters are tied, they're tuned in to social media, okay? When they see boxing fans, boxing channels, huge boxing channels doing shit like that, it makes them clam up. I know it's weak, it sounds bitchy, but it's true. Nobody wants to be humiliated, okay? Nobody wants to be, humiliation is not a good feeling. Nobody wants that. Nobody. So then you got these guys who they'll say, you know what? Fuck that payday. I don't want to be made into a meme or some type of fucked up gif. Right? I don't want that. And here we are. But in Canelo's instance, it's so much worse for him because he's profited so much from the sport, man. Like, other fighters, okay. Canelo has profited so much from the sport of boxing. And he can't give the fans one fight that they wanted to see. Not one. So much so that he goes out of his way. He goes out of his way to find other guys, right? To find other guys to fight. Very interesting. Very interesting. And now, of course, people saying Turki Al-Sheikh is some bad guy because he put Canelo to the screws just like he put everybody else. Like, you're not above anything. Now, I did not cover Canelo's next fight. And I hate to say it, I'm not a fan of Berlanga, but I hate to tie him in on this because he really don't deserve no type of boycott necessarily. It's just that, bruh, you don't deserve this fight. So I ain't got nothing against Berlanga, but I'm not covering that bullshit. But I will say this. When you start cheating the game of boxing like this, when you start hand selecting opponents, he should have learned the last time he was doing this. Like, when you start calling yourself, not what we say. When you start picking cherries and picking certain guys because you think they're easier fights, and you pick Berlanga, and then you get up on the fucking podium and say call him an easy fight and he can't do anything to you. Like you're telling on yourself. You're telling on yourself. But my point is, when you start doing that, it's the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the end. Back to my LeBron James reference. LeBron James would have fell off years ago. The difference with LeBron James and Canelo is LeBron James is playing he's playing professional basketball. So he's got 4 teammates out there. He's got referees, which is even more teammates for him. In regards to him, that's more teammates. LeBron got 7 teammates out there, plus the league office. Canelo got the office, but this is a one-on-one sport. He got to go out there and perform. That's why he does so much to control things before the ring. Because once you get in the ring, it's got to be a fight. Right? It's got to be a fight. Once you're in that ring, it's a fight. It's no more controlling. If he goes out there, we saw what that looked like. Right? When he's just overmatched. He fought Bivol. It was no point in doing a rehydration clause on Bivol because Bivol is not a big light heavyweight. So none of that shit was going to work. And he lucky Bivol don't have a killer instinct. Because he would have got stopped that night. And shame on Bivol for not doing it. Bivol probably was on the verge of doing it, but then he probably thought about that. He was thinking he was going to get that rematch. See, Bivol wanted that rematch. Should have stopped this motherfucker. Boxing would be a lot better off without this motherfucker in the ring. Back to Terence Crawford. I just don't think he doesn't want to keep dealing with this bullshit. These motherfuckers don't want to fight. I wouldn't mind seeing him get one more big payday, one more big fight. The thing is, boxing is in such a place. It's like, aside from Canelo, who's gonna give you the payday? Bud can't go up there and fight AJ, right? That can't happen, right? Bud is my guy, but you can't fight AJ, bro. So what other paydays are out there to compare to this? He can't duplicate himself and fight himself. That's another one that would probably sell, but he can't do that. You got AJ, you got Canelo, you got Bud. That's it. Right? Spare me the Teofimo Lopez shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. And for Canelo to get up there on a fucking microphone and say, I think Teofimo Lopez deserves he should fight Teofimo Lopez. So what you think, he gonna go all the way down there, fight Teofimo Lopez, then what? He's supposed to move up and fight you. This is how these motherfuckers, these bruh, I ain't even gonna get started on them, man. While I'm on the subject, shout out to Devin Haney staying undefeated in the streets. Devin Haney, yeah. Out here undefeated in the ring and in the streets. That's all I got. If you like the video, bang off on that like button one time. Peace.